Welcome to Beyond the Coverage. I'm Chris Horner. In today's episode, I want to talk about Team Slovenia's worst case scenario here at the 24 Men's World Championship starting in less than 2 weeks' time. I got to believe when you have Primoz Roglic and Tadej Pogačar starting on the same team that the worst case scenario, barring crashes of course or something like that, the worst case scenario when the race is all said and done, that Tadej Pogačar and Primoz Roglic don't like each other much afterwards. Now, when we start the Men's Road World Championships, I believe Team Slovenia right now has to be the outright, hands-down, 100% favorite to win the Rainbow Band jersey at this year's 24 edition. Now, when we start looking at Tadej Pogačar, we know he just got done winning the Tour de France. We know he just won over the weekend at Montreal. And we know when we look over there at Primoz Roglic, well, he just got done winning the Vuelta a España for the 4th time. Both riders have multiple Grand Tour wins. Both have a Giro. One has Spain, one has Tour de France, and multiple editions of those two races too. But both are on fine form right now. We're going to see if Primoz Roglic's form has gotten even sharper because he's going to do the individual time trial championships coming up this weekend. But I got to believe if we get into the road race and Tadej Pogačar needs the help of Primoz Roglic and doesn't get it, or Primoz Roglic expects the help from Tadej Pogačar and doesn't get it, that these two might not be best of friends afterwards. I don't believe they're best of friends at the moment. They might have respect for each other. They speak the same language, so I'm certain they must chit-chat with each other at times. But when you look at how often these guys are racing two different schedules, when you look at that Tadej Pogačar beat Primoz Roglic at the 2020 Tour de France, and Primoz Roglic has not had that level of luck making it through the last editions of the Tour de France where he's crashed many times, and then the drama from Visma Bike, then Jumbo-Visma, getting rid of Primoz Roglic because they wanted to ride for Jonas Vingegaard. Well, there's got to be some kind of tension between the two riders from Slovenia. They've done a good job of never showing it publicly, that's for certain. So I can't tell you if they absolutely hate each other at this moment or if they are best of friends or maybe they're just cordial to each other. But at any means, we know they're not exactly super friendly with each other because it's not often that you see them chit-chatting while we're watching the bike races going on at the Tour de France. But it is the Tour de France, right? Okay, so if we start looking at the Men's Road World Championships and the worst case scenario is one needs to sell out for the other and they don't do it, then I got to believe at this moment when we look at Stage 1 of Tour of Luxembourg with Mathieu van der Poel winning this Stage 1 and winning it dominantly as they came into the slight uphill drag on Stage 1 where he opened up a gap on Christophe Laporte coming into the last few hundred meters to win and take the race leader's jersey today. I got to believe if you're Team Slovenia and you're the director sportif that's coming into the Road World Championships, you're getting a little bit excited at this moment. I also got to believe if you look at the Strava record there from Remco Evenepoel from Team Belgium, well, you got to be getting excited seeing that Remco Evenepoel has put up that he's ready to go for the Men's Road World Championships. And of course, he's going to do the individual time trial championships too. So when you see the post from Remco Evenepoel and you see that he did 160 miles, he averaged 22.7 miles an hour. In Calpe, I used to live just a little bit north up there in Denia, so I've ridden all these roads. It's pretty complicated and difficult, which means you have to be on some good form, so the Belgian rider clearly is, to be averaging 22.7 kilometers, 22.7 miles an hour on a 160-mile course. That means that the director sportif there coming in for Slovenia knows that his team should have some more help. Now, let's say that Mathieu van der Poel didn't win today, doesn't win anything going into the Road World Championships. We could see that Team Netherlands going with a completely different tactic than riding 100% behind Mathieu van der Poel. Of course, if Mathieu van der Poel said he is on good form, they might change that. But if he hadn't been winning, if he arrived there at the Road World Championships and he said, guys, I just don't have it, well, the Netherlands team is going to start racing different tactics and trying to put stress on Team Slovenia instead of helping them out. So today's Luxembourg win is a big-time little shiny star there for the director sportif for Team Slovenia to know that, okay, we have the Netherlands behind us. When you look at the Strava record from Remco Evenepoel and you see his speeds that I've already explained to you, they go, wow, we're going to have Belgium with us, we're going to have the Netherlands with us. That's 3 teams to control early. Now, why would he be happy about having a fantastic on-form Mathieu van der Poel? Well, he has Tadej Pogačar and Primoz Roglic, so that's the main reason. But besides that, it means that all the riders on Team Slovenia can control the whole race with help from Netherlands and help from Belgium. If Remco Evenepoel wasn't on form and said his legs aren't good, if Mathieu van der Poel said his legs aren't good going into the Men's Road World Championships, and Slovenia have to ride the front with one team only, just theirs, they're going to be in big-time trouble, and that's the kind of scenario where Tadej Pogačar would need Primož Roglič early in the race, or vice versa, depending on who has the best legs, right? Because I can't tell you, even right now, which rider would ride for who. Tadej Pogačar, of course, I've seen him ride for his teammates in the past, but Primož Roglič, have we really seen Primož Roglič ride for teammates in the past at a big one-day race or at a big stage race? You might be able to say the 22 Tour de France where he's riding for Jonas Vingegaard, but I'll remind you that he crashed on stage 5 going through the cobblestones, dislocated his shoulder there, so he was already down and out of the general classification, more or less, being minutes back from the time there of the race leader, Tadej Pogačar, before that stage 11 started going up Col de Granon. So he wasn't really sacrificing much by throwing in huge attacks and riding for Jonas Vingegaard, who then put on the race leader's yellow jersey, where we saw Primož Roglič stay in the Tour de France for a little bit longer before he dropped out a couple days later and then went home. But other than that, there has not been any time that I can think of off the top of my head where I'd seen Primož Roglič riding for Jonas Vingegaard in the past. He certainly did not ride for Sepp Kuss at last year's Volta a España. So we know that from that year, that if we come into the Road World Championships, I'm going to assume when I turn the Road World Championships on Sunday, 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks from now, that Primož Roglič is racing for himself and Tadej Pogačar is racing for himself. So the Director Sportif has some drama, and that drama, the worst case scenario, is they finish that race and Tadej Pogačar and Primož Roglič are no longer friendly with each other, and all of a sudden you have some tension brewing in Team Slovenia at every time that team gets back together again. And who knows how much longer Primož Roglič will race his bike. But you got to assume he's got another year left there at Bora Hansgrohe. You got to assume he signs again. You got to assume he stays for 2, 3, 4 more years. Will he ride until he's 42 years old and do the Vuelta a España and try to break my record? Quite possibly. We don't know that. But that's a lot of tension if you're talking about 5, 6, 7 more years of racing for the Director Sportif if Tadej Pogačar and Primož Roglič end up hating each other after this 24 edition of the Road World Championships. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We got 4 riders from the first page of my list up here of favorites, and I only have 6 riders on my page. The number 1 rider, Tadej Pogačar, is racing the Men's Road World Championships. The number 3 rider, Primož Roglič, is there. Remco Evenepoel says he's ready and he's on fine form. And Mathieu van der Poel, my number 6 favorite on the first page of the list here of Beyond the Coverage. Well, he just got done winning in Luxembourg, so it looks like the current Road World Champion is on fine form for the Men's Road World Championships coming up in a short time. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next edition real soon.